0955 774299 or 0777 517742 or email musanzatv@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at Musanza TV. Musanza TV, viewers first.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Musanza TV Hot Issue. This is the program of good governance. It's giving you issues to do with governance. And this evening, my name is Vanson Jomba. I'm not alone. I'm with Mr. Dennis Mutumba all the way from Lusaka West. He is a good governance activist. And every week on Wednesday, we are on this platform discussing a number of issues. Good evening to you, Mr. Mutumba.
Thank you, Vanson. Good evening, and good evening, viewers, wherever you're watching us from. How are you?
Very fine. I always say it has been long.
You know, it is the grace of the Lord that you are brought back each time you are down on the bed. And we missed you. I was with Ernest the last Wednesday. We missed you a lot. And
I missed you too. It's good that the program went on as planned.
Thank you very much. We are putting too much concerted efforts to see to it that we continue with this project to advocate and speak for the voiceless.
And for tonight, the number is on your in calling the number that is on the screen and also sending text messages. And those who follow us on Facebook, you can also drop your comments, and definitely we are going to be together and read out all your comments live on TV. Now, last week, you discussed a number of issues to do with the signing of mutual contracts in private companies. And you discussed a number of issues. Now, just a recap for those who missed the program.
Yes, Vanson, and to our viewers, we discussed in length about, you know, private companies engaging their workers into signing of mutual agreement from the general worker up to the senior most position, so that our employers are protected, our employees are protected. So now it has been discovered from the feedback that we had and the callers that were calling that many companies have not signed a contract with their workers. Some of them have worked 5 years without signing a contract. Now, according to the laws, labor laws, under the guidance of International Labour Organization and the Ministry of Labour, that the government listens to the plight of the Zambian workers, that they all get into signing a contract therein. Whether it is 2 days, it's better both are protected because they will have gone into an agreement. Sure.
Thank you so much for that, recap. The good governance continuation of the program, corruption in ministries, to be specific, health, education, home affairs, and also labor. We are still dealing with issues to do with labor. Now, just the introduction. When we talk of corruption in ministries, what do we really try to explain?
Corruption is doing something that is not right, that is not within the law. Okay, that is what we call illicit activities of bribes. In general, corruption is doing what is not right. You get the point. Now, we are looking at, since the New Dawn government came into power, we've been seeing previously, in the previous regime, that there have been huge corruption. Okay, in all the ministries that we've mentioned, the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Home Affairs, and Ministry of Labor, and many other ministries, we have seen that the PF government and maybe any other previous government, you know, many workers have had the supporting fellows of a political party that is in governance. Okay, we have seen that many supporters of political parties, so-called cadres, have had also partnered, you know, befriended themselves into corruption. And so we still see that those that are in the system in these ministries are too corrupt. Now, the question that we are going to discuss today, how will the new Dawn government handle this kind of attitude that rooted the resource of the Zambians, and Zambians remained poor? Only a minority enriched themselves, because people that are working in these ministries, they are in a system of doing corruption. Now, our discussion today is we want to see how the new Dawn government will handle
the recruitment issue. To start with, in health,
as you read the news that went viral on the social media, that most doctors and nurses wanted to protest, okay, because it was an assurance from the ruling party, the new government, that they will engage those 11,000 nurses and the number of those that are doctors. Now, in their wanting to demonstrate, there was a response from the PS, okay, that they should not rush the government to engage them, because there is a process that needs to be done. There is a lot of issues that needs to be put in place before these are recruited. So now, the protest, to me as an activist, as also an analyst, it was not to do with monies. There are issues to look at where are they going to accommodate them. There are issues to look at where are they going to deploy them. In as much as they were assured, it is true the government has assured to engage them. I'm sure, maybe let's give them a little bit of time to see as to whether what they assured the nurses and the doctors will take place. Okay, protesting is good. Protesting at the same time may just cause certain issues not to move. But for now, I'm saying, since a period has been given, that give us some time as a government to process the needful things, so that when you get into office, there won't be a cry that certain things has not been done. So now, to the nurses, I'm saying, let the process of recruitment be done transparently, because ministry that would go to those that would be recruited to say, oh, can you give me a little bit of some money so that I can give the human resource, so that I can give the director for your recommendation for you to be recruited. Now, these are tendencies that we are trying to avoid under the new Dawn government, because if this tendency continues, I want to tell you, those that will be recruited will not be picked on merit. They will be picked based on ethnicity, based on connection, without a better way of doing things. So now, we hope, let the nurses that have qualified, those that are licensed to certain associations, be given the right opportunity and be employed on merit, not based on connection or ethnicity or any friendship relationship.
If that is the manner, don't you think that those who are in employment, especially under health sector, are sons and daughters of corruption? If such things were happening, if you say that there are other big people who would want to say, bring me this, I want to give that person, I want to do this, and the other person is still giving to the other, don't you think we have a lot of sons and daughters of corruption?
Men are they,
health sector?
Men are they that are sons and daughters of corruption. And maybe others would criticize my statement, that I want to tell you that many are those that were recruited previously as nurses, as doctors, without picking them on merit because they qualify, but they were picked because they have a relationship, they were picked because surnames talks about something, they were picked because to benefit good health services.
I may assume maybe that desperation from the people who wanted to protest is coming from that.
Patiently waiting to be recruited. They are incited by the opposition to make this government that it has failed because it has delayed, because to them, upon the president mentioning that we'll recruit 11,000 plus, they felt that upon resuming in the office of the president will now say, giving strength to these that wanted to protest because they were assured. And sometimes we expect, when such kind of trend takes place, we need a press briefing to address the nation so that even us who are not applying, we get to understand what is the cause of this delay from the government, so that we have the balanced information and a better way of specialized communication to those that are waiting to be recruited.
Especially when you talk of health issues, people are still demanding that the recruitment be done in districts. Can this be achievable, especially in
this
the
is the
Health?
best way of engaging those that qualify to fill up the positions of nurses and doctors. If it is done in districts, there's those that belongs to those districts. Now, if it can be done in that manner, it will ease the commotion and the congestion of engaging these people, and it will lessen the corruption, because only those that are in the district who qualifies, who are licensed, who are certified, can be engaged through their respective districts, so that we avoid these tendencies of
Mr. Really sure, but it happened when government recruited teachers. I remember through according to districts, I think if there are more than two, it must be lucky, but maybe only one person was actually recruited in Mazaboka as a teacher when government recruited the previous government. Now, when you talk of issues to do with recruitment and following in districts, now when we talk of education, how do you think it can be possible when in the previous we used to record a small number of people being recognized in districts?
I want to tell you now, most students and most graduates from grade 12, many of them, after seeing that teachers are given loans, everyone was enticed, was encouraged. Okay, they felt so inspired to see teachers whose lives have been upgraded. So most of them in districts, they went to pursue for teaching practices. You got the point. So now, saying that they've picked one person from Mazaboka district, I don't think that was fair. And I don't think the process was done well. I want to believe in every district, if it is well advertised, without that kind of advertisement for formality where people advertise and yet they already have somebody they want to fix in. If an advertisement is done and the requirements meet those who have graduated, I want to tell you, you have more than 100 in Mazaboka district. Even in my own district where I'm coming from, Shibuyunji, I want to tell you most students have gone for teaching and we have more than 100. So it won't be fair to get only 3. Why getting 3 out of hundreds that have met all the requirements that are needed to become a teacher?
And you are aware that the same districts,
but the problem that has been
if you
there,
go and apply to the other district, they'll tell you to go back to your own district.
There must be a better criteria when it comes and regard the good works of good governance. If this government does not do according to the law, according to what is enshrined in the Constitution, I'll be there. And has demonstrated the fight against corruption. You get the point? They've demonstrated the fight against corruption, though they are not doing it the way I expect, because there are a number of things that I expect this government to do.
But maybe we try and pick up this one. Hello, good evening. This is Musanza TV. Your name and where you're calling up? Hello?
I'm calling you from Jonah.
How is Jonah this evening?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Santos.
Yes, maybe you can reduce the volume on your TV set.
Okay, okay, fine.
Yes, you said your name is?
Yeah, this is Simangola Kamuti.
Mr. Kamuti, thank you so much for your contribution to the program.
Sure, sir. Looking at, I have not even gotten the other name with the big one that's putting on a blue jacket.
Mr. Dennis Mutumba.
Okay, Mr. Dennis, the issue of corruption as in Zambia now, even if we are going to change presidents or parties every time, every now and then, corruption will still be there in Zambia. I grew up in a camp, in a military camp somewhere in Lusaka, concerning the Ministry of Defense. I was there. I stayed there after finishing my grade 12, cleared all my papers, and then from there, we were waiting as people were supposed to be picked to go for training. So only the train was because some of our brothers were just maybe staff sergeants, and the in was a sergeant or some corporal or something like that. We were not picked on the ground to say those people that are there as generals are not doing what they're supposed to do. And so we are left behind because they know, let the staff go, let the sergeant go, let it go. Those that were not in powers, in full powers, in position as in the strength, were not picked. And then we came back, we tried to apply in the government, we did some other courses. Still, those that are courts are not the people that have papers, you see that. And so people with what you say corruption in Zambia, if they are on a higher level, even if we were saying that is there, is doing fine, but it's not that again on the youth. It's not thing to say, who's got the qualification, why is this one living a life like this? Why is it? Because corruption is still there, because he's also got his people, so he could say he's my president, but he's got his people that he's putting into office, those that are not even qualified, because that maybe just because they've got the direction, they say, no, issues like that, and then this is the culture that Zambia has to aim for us to develop, because people go to school, we use a lot of money for us to get educated. When you come on the ground, you still have to give someone the brain for you to be in a better position. Hope you understand me now.
Mr. Kamuti.
That's a contribution. Yes,
sir. Before you go, what do you think now can be done if you believe that there is still corruption? Yes, what do you think can be done?
What can be done?
What the UPND government, or the UPND Alliance government, under the leadership of HH and Mutalena Rumango and his cabinet, okay? They must learn from the mistake that the PF did by recruiting people based on ethnicity and tribalism. You get the point? Based on surname, as I mentioned earlier on. But now, the UPND government must realize that they should not repeat the same mistake, because, as I've said, the fool learns from his own mistake, and the wise person learns mistakes from his friends. So meaning, UPND must learn from the mistake that the PF did by not only recruiting Tongas, only recruiting Lozi people, only recruiting Gobas. We want them to recruit in these positions of, nurses, teachers, soldiers, immigration, DEC. They must recruit them based on merit. This is what we are advocating for. I'm not going to dance to the current situation whereby if things cannot work somewhere, then I believe that they can still work here. No. I'm saying, me as an advocate, because I'm also a human rights activist, I'm fighting that let there be equity. By engaging whoever in these respective ministry, they must be engaged based on merit, without engaging because HH is a Tonga, only Tonga should find a position. Now, he mentioned of Reba, where people are reporting, we've tackled this issue the previous weeks.
Exactly.
You get the point. Now, the Labour Ministry must learn from their friends again. If they failed to attend to the complaints of the workers, it is time that now the minister and his team go and check what these people have been complaining, to make sure that every leadership, when it comes into office, there must be a change. You can't be a leader who work the same way those that left were working. When you come in as a leader, you must change the methods. In the way they are saying, the leadership of UPND Alliance will be methodical. So they must use a method that will tell people that indeed Barry came to fix things. But if Barry came in and there's still a rotten system in these ministries, let Barry begin to fix. Let him begin to remove the rotten system, because there is a lot of corrupt maggots that are working in these various ministries. Remember, changing a system is not something that you can do overnight. It is something that you need to sit down and look where the problem is. The government has changed, but histories, the systems of corruption are still working. You agree with me? If the president is watching this discussion today, I want to inform my president that the system of corruption is still working. The system, I have a solution. The solution is that any civil servant, any public worker who is in charge of a certain department must not overstay more than 5 years. Because if they stay longer, they will turn to have grey corruption, which is difficult to eliminate.
Let's pick up this one. Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you so much for coming through. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yes, good evening. I'm Alan calling from
Mongo.
Mongo.
Alan, would you kindly reduce the volume on your TV set?
Oh, yes. I can.
Okay, thank you so much. You can go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, my contribution is on recruitment. Whatever recruitment can be done, it has to be free and fair to give opportunity to every person who applies for that. Otherwise, if it works like the way it used to be, then it is not fair. Therefore, the issue is clear, and if people, those in charge of recruitment, they are going to listen to what the person you are interviewing and the points is giving, then it will be very well. But what we will see, if it will be not like what that man is proclaiming, then it will be something else. Therefore, I would rather, this man came last time, that's when where he talked about the work of the labor and how they should approach those employers.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, if that is the work that they are going to do, even those, because we see labor officers in the district, I mean in the provinces. If they are there, I'm sure they are there, but they are not doing anything. And the president really cannot see the mistakes, every mistake. If those people in charge, put in charge, they are not working to the extension of meaning of the people. Therefore, this man, at last, if you want to call me, he gave his number, but we failed to get it because I came very late. This time around, I want you also to be in touch with him.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes, because when it comes to the issue he talked last time, that's what we are in also. The problem whereby you find institutions and companies, people as if they are foreigners. Those people in charge, they are not actually doing their work. So the one to him was being the instrumental to speak for the people. I think he just, because he has access also to the way he speaks. He has access to speak to the president, he has access to speak to the minister in charge. So if those people are listening, let them just go around. I'm not pointing to say, let him start with this company or start with that institution, but they have to go around and they'll see the mistakes and the treatment that people are being treated in this country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan, for coming through.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Right.
You, but I would rather being helped by the number of that big man.
Thank you so much. You have taken note.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Sam Tumba, issues there.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Thank you, my
also
brother.
basing from the previous discussions that we had. Okay, thank you so much for coming through.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. He has contributed my thought. And this is the way we are supposed to work, and let the government, pull their socks up, because they've been sleeping. I don't think they've been sleeping. I think they condone too much corruption and bribes. Okay? Vanson, we discussed a lot on labor, and we have not exhausted. It's only that because we have so many topics to cover up. Or we are appealing the voice that is one through our discussions and topics is that labor office must defend the Zambians first. The problem with our discussion in all these ministries, we may mention all of them, 30 of them. The problem is the system. Now, let me go a little bit deeper before anyone comes in to contribute or question us. As I said, governments will change, but the system will never change. If I was a president, okay, I would have found a method to do away with the rotten system. Everyone who works in the government as a public worker, many of them, they don't work to save the Zambian people. They are not selfless. They are there to save themselves. It is too much. Why? We have people that are working yet affiliated to a political party. Already right now, do you know what the UPND supporters thought before the president could say no more Kadarism or no more Thagari? The UPND supporters and cadres, you know that? Every politician who get into campaigns thinks when he uses the poor on the ground, the moment he gets into the office, he becomes selfish. He begins to think about himself and his family and his relatives. Hakainde Chilema says no to Thagari and Kadarism. He wants to pick people on merit. Even right now, the way Hakainde has appointed the cabinet, it has injured many UPND. If they are listening today, some of them will criticize. The truth of the matter is that Hakainde is trying to show a picture that you only engage those that meet the qualities of leadership. That's why last time he said, I'm not seeking for re-election. I'm seeking, once they are voted into office, they no longer communicate to their people. Their phones are ever busy.
Stamtumba, to cut you short, we have a call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you so much. Your name and where you're calling us from? Mr. Kapambu, where are you calling us from? Luapula. How is Luapula this evening?
Fine, fine.
Would you kindly try to speak up?
Okay, no problem.
Thank you so much. Your contribution.
I think I just want to contribute on the same topic. Let's start on the point of where the guest has said the president has said not to Kadarism. I think the problem is let's define Kadarism. The president cannot end Kadarism. A cadre is a member of an organization. If Mr. President is also a cadre, because he's a member of the UPND. So let us not mislead that he has ended Kadarism. When you end Kadarism or a cadre, it means you have ended an organization. So let us not mislead the people that the president has ended Kadarism. That's why he has also and other things. So let us not mislead the people. He hasn't ended Kadarism. It is still there because a cadre. Kadarism comes from the word kada, and the kada is the name of a political party. So, according to corruption, I think if the current government is doing greater nothing on corruption, if the president is serious on corruption, he tells the nation how to steal. Now the question is, why has he not reviewed the names of the people who are learning on how to steal? Why has he not reviewed the lecturers of the people, the lecturers who are teaching people, who are teaching his ministers how to steal? They know the people that are learning how to steal. And if the president knows the people are teaching people how to steal, how can you end the corruption? I think he is not fighting corruption. He's just trying to blackmail the Zambian people. So let us speak things right, not to support that way because we want to praise somebody. No, he's not fighting corruption. He's deputy. He has also come on the public to say he knows the ministers who are corrupt. Have you heard the president issuing a statement or SUC or the police making a referral to get the details of those ministers who are corrupt? That's why I don't have this trouble. Look at the current of your cabinet. If you begin from the current cabinet, I can assure you are going to fight corruption. But if you are going to look in the past, you will do it through and you end up like Mwanawansa, who wasted a lot of money in fighting corruption in Zambia. They've repeated literally nothing. If you talk about all the cases that have been being investigated by the SUC, there's no case which is on corruption. None. And 6 months down the line, not a single case has been successfully prosecuted. What kind of corruption is that? Is that a kind of corruption? People want to hear conviction, not to say something like in corruption. But if you are going to just end up investigation, which doesn't end, that is not fighting corruption. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming through. Right, Mr. Mtumba, I think this concern from the Rapula man, it was actually coming next to say we hear of arrest, and yet very little has been done on this one.
That's very true. My brother, I love your vibrance in thinking and also in articulating issues. He has mentioned something that I mentioned previously, that the word Kadarism, the word Kadarism was supposed to be replaced by the word Thuggery. I mentioned it, Vanson, and he has also spoken what I mentioned. Okay, now I was trying to speak according to the statement that the President gave. My brother, fighting corruption is a process. For sure, we need to give credit where it's due. Those that are suspected to have enriched themselves through the proceeds of crime has started. Okay? Mwanawasa, you mentioned before I come to the current president. Mwanawasa did things that were amazing and Zambians appreciated. Now, I still want to discussing somebody who is gone. Now, Hakainde Hichilema is fighting corruption, and you'll not appreciate now because it's only 6 months. There is 4 months, 6 months, 4 years, 6 months remaining. Where we are advocating, my brother, and I think it was coming in the second question, that Zambians have had seen these who were found with millions of kwachas. The law changed to defend those that forfeited their properties and the finances or materials to the government. We don't want that, and I will tell you as an advocate that I also don't buy such kind of leadership in investigating crimes. Why am I saying that let this government change the system? Where in Parliament he stood so bold to say I can't approve the budget which is going toward ACC because ACC is corrupt. I once corrupted them. Muneo has never been arrested, and what is the picture from the Zambians? What is the president doing over that? Where Muneo is summoned to go to ACC, he comes back very bold and leave them on the tables of discussion. He moves out, and the ACC says, no, we are not happy with what Muneo did. That shows that ACC, when they are investing, as my brother has indicated, they must investigate first before they arrest anyone, because we don't want to see a situation whereby these offenders and the crime law breakers are taken to court, then they are acquitted.
These arrests we see in the New Dawn government just mere, or maybe they show seriousness of maybe fighting corruption?
I'm appealing to the IG. I'm appealing to the IG. I have nothing to fear whether maybe by speaking the truth I can be arrested. I want the IG, since we know him and he's been appointed based on merit because of expertization, he embarrassed as Zambians by taking people to court for 5 years, and at the end of the day the prosecution team loses. You understand? It is now that these arrests are happening. I'm sure when they're arresting they know what they are doing, but we don't want to see a situation where when one minister is arrested and charged, taken to court, and is IG and the Minister of Home Affairs and also the Commission of Police train their officers to begin by investigating and have tangible evidence that one has been involved in a crime or an offense, so that when they take that person to the court, the prosecution team wins the case. And now Zambians will appreciate that this government is doing the right thing, as our brothers indicated that people are expecting convictions. But if they are going to arrest people and investigate later, in your own layman's view, honestly, if you arrest me today without facts, then you release me on bond or on bail, when I go back, I will seal the evidence. Now, I'm not speaking as a police officer, I'm speaking as a layman. We know that the
Maybe we still give them time, because you mentioned something that also UPND must be given time as in governance. We also give them time for investigations.
No, Vanson, we are talking about the system working here. We are not talking about giving one time. We are talking about the system that is working and is connected.
I'm sure,
okay, for example,
I'm sure police also issue statements, and they are telling us to wait for the investigations.
The only charges that we are seeing now are charges of assault, charges of murdering. We have not seen any charge that one has been found with excess wealth.
Should they work outside their mandate?
I may not
according to
much.
Whatever you are trying to explain.
What I'm saying is that why can't the people that we expect might have stolen, looking at the material wealth that they have, you get the point? Why is it that they are charging them with assaults? Zambians are seeing that these people stole from the Zambian people. But what happens is the charges that are given to them are not what Zambians are doing. Anyway, I'm hoping that the IG, as he stated, that they know what they are doing. And we are hoping, for sure, the period is just too small. But we are hoping that let Zambians see justice to those that got rich on the expense of the poor Zambians.
Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. How are you, sir?
Very fine, thank you so much. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, from Choma. Mr. Chris.
Mr. Chris, how is Choma this evening?
Yeah, Choma is very cool, sir.
Your contribution.
By kusiriza corruption, si chintu chiri easy, au tupamene hapa chingasire. Semu like ulina ngombe pa nyumba, tufuna ngombe yingi muri 2 days.
Hello, Choma.
So manje, one challenge yetiri nayo, tinabana benangu, beti wana tu corruption zingasire Mzambia.
Okay, are you done?
No, I'm still going.
Okay, maybe switch off the volume on your TV set.
Oh, okay, I switched off now.
Okay, you can continue.
Yes. Kulibana itri na wawateza like Mazesco, mwana from 2011, then I'm 2016, then I'm 2005, but they have qualification, but they still have they still casuals. But Mutabera from far, I been a paper, Mujito Pari, Mujito Arina paper, see corruption is. So I think.
Thank you so much.